Have you ever had an idea? It's an obvious question, right? We all have. Let me tell you about one of mine. It all started during the COVID-19 pandemic, when we were all relying on online orders. And with online orders always comes those brown cardboard boxes. My inciting incident was when I saw my sister's small, overpriced makeup bottles shipped in boxes 10 times their size. The extra space was filled with bubble wrap and styrofoam, both notoriously difficult to recycle. I was shocked by how inefficient these packages were. I felt compelled to do something about it. And so, I started to create my idea. Drawing inspiration from hours of Lego building and driven by a need for better packaging, I created a scalable, reusable shipping box idea. But then I took a step further. I decided to pursue my idea. I researched better methods, better materials, better mechanisms, and eventually created a fully functioning prototype, usable for both shipping and helping nonprofits with storage. Now you may be thinking, why is he telling us this? What's the point in me listening to this? I'm here to tell you that your ideas can become real too, as long as you pursue them. Every innovation, every invention, every world-changing creation stems from an idea. And for many of us, ideas are never short in supply. But sometimes we're too worried, we're too anxious, we're too afraid of pursuing these ideas, of disrupting the status quo with something new. Ideas are just sets of words. They're just fragile bubbles of innovation. Steve Jobs himself said that ideas are worth nothing unless they are executed. Change comes from innovation, and innovations are only ideas that were put to work. Now these ideas, they can come from virtually any need. Now I'm not a coffee drinker, but I know many people who are. And with a lot of these hot drinks always comes a strip of cardboard lining. They're called Zarfs, in case you're curious, Z-A-R-F. Someone had a need, that their fingers burned whenever they held their mocha lattes. And so they decided to come up with their solution. Instead of building off of previous innovations like double layering the cups, or simply just struggling through the pain, they decided to implement and pursue their idea, a simple cardboard lining. And now, the image of a coffee cup would be incomplete without that Zarf. Your ideas can become world-changing too, but you have to pursue them. You have to take them, breathe life into them, and create them into innovations that can change your world. But what then? You have your idea, and hopefully by now I've persuaded you to pursue it. What do you do then? I'll tell you this. The road from idea to innovation is not easy. Creating change is never easy. While this isn't comprehensive, here are 3 of the biggest things to know when you're pursuing your ideas. Number 1, avoid perfectionism. One of the biggest roadblocks you'll face during this path is an idea called perfection paralysis. Even while writing this talk, I was having problems with this. The idea is pretty simple. People believe that if something isn't perfect, they might as well not pursue it. This either stops good ideas from ever being pursued, or it stops progress right in its tracks, never finding that perfection. But the point of innovation is never to get it on the first try. It's to iterate, to repeat, and to improve on every new design and prototype. The light bulb, now a symbol of a good idea, is one of the best examples of this. Thomas Edison tried over 1,000 filaments for his bulb, trying to find the best balance between producing light and lasting long. And eventually, he came up with a strip of carbonized bamboo. A really odd material, right? It took him ages to find. So much that he now has a quote for it. "I have not failed. I've simply found 10,000 ways that don't work." Your ideas won't be done on the first try, that's for sure. But that's not the point of innovation. You will repeat and you'll improve on every new prototype, every new iteration of what your design is. And sure, you may run into a few busts, but in the end, you will have an idea, an innovation that you know is well thought out and designed. But how do you know if you're in that perfectionist spiral? You'll feel the walls of perfectionism shutting you out of your idea. You'll start fearing that it's not worth it to pursue your idea because it's never going to be perfect. But to accept that no idea is ever truly perfect is one of the biggest steps you can take. And once you do, your ideas will be so much better. Number 2, listen. Your ideas won't just impact you. They'll impact your community, your city, maybe even the entire world. And to impact such a large group of people, you have to truly listen to them. When we think of quick note-taking, Post-it notes are one of the first things that come to mind. When we think of writing down a quick note or getting our thoughts on paper, usually a Post-it is one of the first things we grab. But what interests me most about this Post-its is the story of their creation. Dr. Spencer Silver of 3M developed an adhesive. It didn't stick completely, but it's softly bonded. And he never found a use for it. So the adhesive sort of fell flat. But then one of his colleagues, Art Fry, came to him with a problem. The bookmarks in his church choir book kept falling out, and he had no trace of which songs they were going to sing. Together, they came up with their idea. And then the Post-it notes were born. If Dr. Silver never listened to Dr. Fry, the Post-its wouldn't be here. They wouldn't be here to store the scribbles and notes of the mind. Listening to others is the best way to make sure your innovations can help the best amount of people. Even though sometimes they may come with something contradictory to what you think, it's still a fresh pair of eyes to your idea. And knowing that your ideas can always improve and that you may not always be right is another one of the big steps you have to take. But once you do, you know your idea, your innovation will be helping the most amount of people in the best way possible. Number 3, be flexible. Along this road of innovation, you'll find yourself pursuing another problem. It won't be the same as what you originally thought, but you're still helping people. And that's the main point of innovation. That's the reason why we innovate. What's an innovation that we all have in our toolboxes? While you guys think on that, I'll tell you a story. Dr. Henry Coover, working for the Allies in World War II, was trying to find a plastic to make new military lenses. But the compound that he had was much too sticky to be used for any plastics, and so he set it aside. 10 years later, he was working again for the military, this time trying to find a plastic for jet plane canopies. And again, that substance that he found earlier was much too sticky for any plastic use. But then, Dr. Coover found the silver lining in such a sticky situation. He decided to hinge on that sticky nature. And thus, superglue was born. Even though it wasn't for the military purposes that Dr. Coover was originally designing it for, superglue is now one of the biggest innovations in the world, be it for fixing our hobby planes, but even for wartime medicine. Dr. Henry Coover came up with his innovation, despite it being for a different problem. Superglue, despite creating inflexible bonds, shows us what it means to be flexible. Along the way, you might be solving a different problem. But in the end, you have to realize that it's not really about which problem you're solving, but that you're solving a problem with your idea, with your innovation, and you're helping people in the end. That is what matters about innovation. Now, again, you may be thinking, where did I learn these 3 points? What ground do I have to stand on to speak with you today? You remember that box I told you about? Scalable, reusable, eco-friendly, all that? It got accepted into the 3M Young Scientist competition, and I was accepted as one of their top 10 national finalists. It was a little awkward being in that event, but it showed me what it meant to innovate. I learned so much more than what I previously had, much more than what my little 8th grader brain knew. I learned how to be flexible with my purpose, and I learned how to listen to others about how I could improve my designs. And I learned how to avoid perfectionism when creating my ideas. Those 3 points stick with me today, and they will stick with me for the rest of my life. And I hope that when you walk out of here today, those 3 points will stick with you too. If you ever have a random idea about a problem that you have, maybe try pursuing it, even through all the adversities and challenges that may come with. Who knows? Your ideas may just change the world. Thank you.